So this morning I came downstairs and I saw on Facebook, which checking my morning Facebook, I saw this video it was just so funny. And I've left the video link in the comments below. But if you don't have time to watch it, it basically shows that God has created squirrels with just amazing adaptability. And it reminded me of a couple of verses where God speaks of us as his creation. In Matthew 6, it talks about us being like birds of the air and flowers of the field. And it ends off by saying, and if God cares so wonderfully for wildflowers that are here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow, he will certainly care for you. If God created the squirrels with so much adaptability, how much more do you think he's given us as his creation and his children? Right now, we're facing obstacles of all sorts being placed in our path. And I've seen some great examples, some right within our church and within my friend group, of adapting to those obstacles, looking at them and figuring out ways to adjust and live with the obstacles that come up, sometimes daily in these days. There are actually lots of examples of adaptability in Scripture. In 1 Corinthians 9, Paul, who came across all sorts of difficulties in his ministry, said, "Though I am free and belong to no one, I have made myself a slave to everyone, to win as many as possible. To the Jews, I became like a Jew to win the Jews, and to the weak, I became weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all people." And then you can kind of hear Paul take this deep breath and tell us the purpose of his adaptability. He says, so that by all possible means, I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I might share in its blessings. Just this week in our Mom's Bible Study group, one of the moms shared how God had placed someone on her heart, and because of that prompting, she allowed God to adjust what she was doing in her day. She paused, prayed, and contacted the person that she was thinking of. And through it, she had a chance to have quite a long and meaningful conversation with that person. God used her adaptability in the moment to minister to someone. As we come up against all these obstacles, we need to be mindful that God is at work, and we need to view these obstacles as opportunities to show God's character and his grace to those around us. And sometimes that's difficult. There are difficult people, especially if we're involved in social media, and difficult relational challenges to navigate. But the next time you come across one of these challenges, I encourage you to pause, to pray, and to ask the Lord if he has a way that he wants you to adapt and show his love and kindness to those in the situation you find yourself in. I'm going to leave you with a verse today that it's a good reminder of who God has called us to be as we face difficulties and challenging situations and even difficult people. It's one that God has used and is using in my life, and I have to admit it isn't always an easy one for me to remember and live out. But in 2 Timothy 2:24, it says, "A servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but must be kind to everyone, be able to teach, and be patient with difficult people." Remember that God has given us the ability to adapt in order to be glorified and in order to show his love and character to the world that we live in and that he created and that he loves dearly.